Welcome, RPG Limit Break fans, to the Final Fantasy Randomizer Winter Tournament 2025 Finals Match 1 between Spellzapp and Chanigan. My name is Thavienock. With me at the booth day and handling restream duties is Mechlin and our tracker slash seed roller for the day, Danny. Mechlin, what are we looking at with these parties and blursings?
I was muted because I clicked the wrong button. My bad. I know everybody in Discord heard me. Anyway, forced black belt, forced fighter. So it's gonna be interesting to see what our runners do here with that, because both of them are on the same page where black belt in the end of this tournament is definitely viable compared to trying to run the fighter. The black belt, I mean, level 42 black belt is just going to do the damage. So it's going to be interesting to see what our runners decide to do. So improved cat claw for our fighter comes with, I believe it makes the crit rate for cat claw the same as the Vorpal would be. So that could be interesting to see that. Probably not going to see it though. And the black belt comes with plus 800 gold, which is nothing really. Like, it helps in Canary a little bit for grabbing spells and gear if we really need it, but other than that, not going to do a whole lot. Red mage with plus 10 hit percent. We see Spellzapp has grabbed a red mage. Chanigan took the black mage though, which comes with resist to earth, poison, and death, which are actually three of the really nice ones, because that's going to protect against Bane, it's going to protect against Crack, that's going to protect against Rub and Quad X. So that's actually really nice for that black mage. If we see a white mage, we'll get plus 20 vitality, which is also nice. That's going to give the white mage a really nice HP pool for late game. And then if we really feel like, we have early lockpicking on the thief. So that's also something that we could potentially see our runners grab.
We see really level 1 and level 2 white magic, we got heal 2, harm, ruse, and A-lit. Actually some good utility there. And then lit 2 and ice 2, so early sweepers for the black mage.
Yeah, that's nice to see. It's always nice to see damaging spells early on.
Especially when one of those sweepers is actually red mage learnable. And the heal and ruse are red mage learnable, so the red mage doesn't seem to be hindering Spellzapp's utility. And Spellzapp going red mage triple melee, picking up that thief available in recruiting. That is interesting. And we see Chanigan actually opting out of 2 early X chests. Knows there's 2 shards there.
Yeah, we can come back for that later. We'd rather take out Garland for now, get the progress moving. If we had better sweepers, maybe we could consider it. But with the limited amount of resources we have now, it definitely makes more sense to just go after the Garland and come back for the shards later on. Spellzapp is choosing to go ahead and take it, though.
So each shard is going to be worth 6.25% more gold and experience. Every 8 shards is 50% improvement. But they will also need 32 shards. We have the highest roll I've seen so far this tournament as far as the shard requirements to get past the orb and get into Toph. And oh my word, is Chanigan getting beat, has to wipe out of the fight against Garland.
Yeah, it looks like Garland definitely rolled up on the HP there for sure. Our our stats are up to the max that they can get for the tournament. Boss stats at 140 to 200% and HP 170 200. And I'm pretty sure Garland falls under that category as a boss. I could be mistaken though. But Spellzapp making it through, finding a TNT and an herb. So that's going to push us to the western side of the Inner Sea. Those are basically 2 free turn-ins there. Probably going to head to Bicky though, just to get that item. No, Spellzapp is going straight for it.
He's either going, he's going that way. I was thinking he might go back and try and get those shards. Now he's taking care of Garland, but nah, you're right. Going straight for the TNT. Finds a gold bracelet vanilla. That is solid armor for anyone in the party that wants to put it on. And Chanigan, meanwhile, has lost the black belt and is punching with the black mage, but gets through Garland and can now, could be a womp.
Yeah, it's going to remain to be seen if that is or not yet. It looked like we didn't get high enough damage rolls with the 2 casts that we had on the black mage, so that's definitely putting Chanigan a little bit behind here. Probably not feeling too good, but it's still early game, so we can still have a lot of time to make up. Not opting to take the thief there.
Spellzapp actually picked up some cloth +4 while in the shop and never equipped it, so got that equipped with the gold bracelet on the red mage.
Yeah, cloth +4 is nothing to joke about. That is a decent amount of experience, and that looked like a chime bonk on Elfland Castle.
Excellent.
Chime on Bicky. I'm calling it now.
Chanigan checking the recruit, opting not. I don't remember. I think that was either a fighter or a red mage. I missed it.
Yeah, I missed it completely there. Red mage chat calling out.
Yeah, double red mage would be cool, or black red, but at this point my thought is Chanigan went the black mage and really wants to find the white to have the best magic coverage, and again, Chanigan's black belt goes down. There's the crown, so that's a turn in over it to fight Garland, which will be fun.
Yeah, I imagine that black belt's going to be going down a little bit here until we can find the... I imagine Chanigan will grab that gold Cheerio and put on the black belt so it has a little bit of resistance there.
Saw life 2, exit lit 2 and ice, or lit 3 and ice 3 I should say, at level 2 magic, so Spellzapp having to choose what to pick up there. I'm guessing 1 sweeper in both the exit and the life 2. Meanwhile, Chanigan's like, I need a white caster, please.
Yeah, Chanigan picked up the red mage, so Spellzapp might have will have the access to the early lockpicking potentially here. But usually whenever you see early lockpicking, that just means the key is going to be early in the progression chain anyway. I don't know. We'll have to see how it goes. But we did pick up a crown there from Bicky and the Pirates, so that's another piece of progression here. We're opting to head to Matoya's here to take a peek at some of these boxes. A nice 3 shield, a house, and a marked box is okay.
Gonna take that box, find some EXPs, but a 2-pack this early, yeah, you've got a couple good sweepers, but you have the charges for it. The red mage sure doesn't. It hasn't even taken a fight.
There's a low roll on that lit 3. I don't know.
The big worry not going with the white mage early, having the black mage for Chanigan, was do I find things like life and exit that I can get with a red mage or anything else? And
yeah,
then, of course, with the black mage, I like that over taking the white mage or the red mage, which Spellzapp took the red mage, because if fast or nuke or some really high-end magic is beyond the ken of a red mage promoted even, that's just scary.
Yeah, definitely will be. That was a ship off of Astos, so that gets us out of the Inner Sea there pretty quickly.
Sad not to have a walking simulator seed, but hey, we've had a few of those coming in the last few rounds. Might as well give them a chance to stretch their sea legs and see what encounters have been rolled on the sea.
It just means a late floater, right?
Also, we got to check at the armor shop in Provoke. I forgot to note, gold bracelets vanilla were like 15k, but they also found pro rings +1 for about 10k. So something that might want to go back and pick up. I mean, only the black mage basically doesn't have a pro ring, or need one.
Yeah, question in chat, where was the thief? It was in Canaria. And then we picked up a red mage in Provoca.
Lock 2, good value in black at level 3. Also saw Quake and Stop. There's Harm 3 and Lamp. Lamp is actually kind of useful. We've got Improved Dark, and unless you have Lamp or Cure 4, you could basically stuck there swinging at absolutely nothing.
Yeah, that's definitely something I'd be picking up. Obviously want to check out the other spells first and make sure that we can buy, you know, like Warp, obviously, like we're seeing here. And we're also opting to pick up that Quad X there on Spellzapp side. But I would definitely be going back and grabbing that Lamp just to have it, just in case we do an early carry dive. Carry has Dark magic spell, so it's not always fun to get darked on carry and basically have to reset out of that fight.
Spellzapp encountering a non-guillotinable encounter, so I had to wait and maneuver to get past that elf in Elfland. But on and out, you have to assume going to Crescent. It's the only place you can get to that, well, can do anything.
Well, we could, we have Northern Docks on, so we could park at Mirage Desert and walk to Gaia to look for a shop item. We could also get to Onrak for a shop item. So we maybe, depending on what this item from Crescent Lake is, we might have to see our runners do some interesting maneuvering to get a shop item here.
That was something I forgot to consider as the shop item, but they need access to a canoe or a floater to get anywhere at this point. There's the key, 25k, so they're going to have to get some money. Assume if they got good enough spells and charges, they might just camp here and look for some EXPs, but that's not something I could imagine them doing easily, because if you haven't noticed, they have not taken Ruby. Okay, that they can track down.
Yep, Chanigan finding out.
They have not had to take many encounters.
Now we've got what, three chest encounters that we could take for a few experience. Spellzapp more than likely is going to ignore that key, if I had to guess. Probably going to get some levels over here. Unless we find a huge chest with some gold in it, I could see it just skipping it since we have that early lockpicking. Level 12 is pretty easily attainable early on.
That is very true. I forgot the reason Spellzapp took the Thief was run ability and the early lockpicking, so not having to get all that gold could matter. But as I was saying, you'd see they're going to run all the way to Titans and not take an encounter. So this early, the idea of an overall grind does not seem reasonable.
Yeah, I have a
nice hero run.
I was going to say I haven't seen an encounter on the overworld yet, so.
Apart from the ship float, but there was only, I think there was 2 encounters between Crescent Dock and Melman Dock.
Yeah, and the sea encounters aren't usually worth a whole lot. I would definitely be trying to go for something around Crescent or up near Lefane possibly, if we really need the levels. Well, that's a slab. We can turn that in. It's a bit of a walk, but...
You were talking about the places we can get with the modifications, the bridge to Lefane.
Yep. All the map edits are turned on, so we have access to basically everything at this point. Canoe is the only thing that is blocking us from a few entrances, and then once we have the floater, we'll have access to everything at that point. Okay,
well,
so
Spellzapp picks up the rod from Sarda, so the options are go track down the slab or dive Earth.
I think we're going to dive Earth here. It makes sense. We're already here. We do want some levels to get the early lockpicking or the money to get the key. So it's going to be one or the other here, and I think Earth could provide either or for both runners here. Chanigan's definitely going to have to find that gold to get the key. But as I said, I think we could potentially find that here in Earth Cave.
Chanigan on his way to Crescent, gonna find that key. Did stop into Northwest Castle to pick up those 2 shards that were bypassed earlier. Get some gold, get some experience. Every little bit counts, and yep, you're right, going to Earth. Now, would he check the top floors, or would he just go straight in?
Oh, we're checking the grind tiles for sure. Gershark Big Eye, that is a tile.
You've got Ice 3 and Lit 3 that you can use.
That is a whole bunch of experience. That looks like our black belt grind right there. It's going to take a little bit to get off the ground, but that's going to give that black belt a whole bunch of experience.
Spellzapp going to reset out and probably run from it, or look for a lower shark count, and that's it.
Yeah, 1 Gershark and a Big Eye might be a little bit doable. This should get us a decent bit of levels, though. Probably want to check out what the second tile is behind it as well, just in case.
That was my expectation, was going to reset out and then run from it, but looks like he's going to be able to pop some eyes.
Oh, chat calling out we lost the red mage earlier. That's what it was. Okay. That makes sense why it was a reset out. Yeah, that's 2 or 3 levels right there off of that one Gershark and 1 Big Eye. And Badman behind it. That's not a tile. But the Gershark Big Eye being so accessible right there, that's definitely going to be helpful.
A few potions, but no party members lost. Spellzapp is happy to get that intel, but I could imagine he's got access to a tent or a few houses maybe. Use up the charges, go out and save in, but
no, we're going back. We're going to go ahead and do a little bit of a grind here.
As Spellzapp takes the second pack of Shark and Big Eye, Chanigan is turning in the Ruby to check Sarda and Titans. Gonna pick up the slab and the rod respectively. Or Titans and Sarda, slab and rod.
Yep.
Respectively would not work in the way I initially used it. But Spellzapp gets through and level 10 across the party. There's only 2 more levels needed on that thief to get that unlocked, or get that thief lockpicking. Looks like Spellzapp doesn't have any more houses, so it's going to go ahead and translate and save in Melmond.
Yeah, I think houses were roughly around 2,200 if I remember correctly. So like, it's not something we're going to be able to buy a lot of early on, but we are opting to go ahead and translate the slab here. I don't imagine we go to turn that in just yet, but while we're here, might as well before we save. And then, no, we are going to go turn that in. Interesting.
Choices being made, but unless Spellzapp thought it was 10, not 12 for early lockpicking. Or nope, he has almost 20 grand. He's going to just buy houses now so he doesn't have to keep running out. Those Big Eye Gershark packs were doing a lot of work to stack up the money.
Yep, okay, that's what we were doing. That's all it was.
I don't dislike this play. Get one stop and then go back, and then you can just grind and dive.
Yeah, absolutely. Be able to get some spell charges on the red mage, it would be nice too. Before we start diving, and inevitably have to take some encounter boxes along the way.
Chanigan gonna head in to Earth as well, whether or not... Yep, they will also find the Gershark Big Eye pack in a double Big Eye. That is sweet. That's the bigger of the experience combos.
And there was a free house... free house on the second floor in Earth Cave.
Chanigan likewise does not have any houses, did save at Melman before making this run, so has clean charges, but we'll have to run back out. The difference, of course, being Chanigan has 2 magic casters, so has more charges of the Lit 2 and 3.
Yeah, that'll definitely make grinding on that tile a little bit easier. Spellzapp opted to just head straight down, which is understandable. We're already level 10. We can pretty much withstand things. We have some spell charges we can use on shard boxes that we're going to encounter along the way. I don't know that we've picked up any weapons for that fighter yet, unless I missed us purchasing any. So
I think Chanigan bought a sword, but I don't know about the Spellzapp. What I do know is he did get some armor. Meanwhile, Chanigan moving the black belt to the bottom slot and giving it the gold bracelet is in the act of danning the party. Bold move, Cotton. Chanigan really in the thought of get the black belt online sooner and then just shoot everything along the way.
yeah, it's going to be interesting if he does decide to do that. While this is a nice grind tile, only having 3 shards this early, you're not getting a whole lot of experience from it, and it's going to take a few rounds to get this down. Like, see there, 3,700 experience, but I don't know. These are the pros. We are just the commentators.
That is an Oxyale out of Earth Armory. And Spellzapp exiting out and opting not to take the 2 shards plus immediately is just going to go ahead and start taking the grind now. So, not worth going to take on the Lich, but is worth getting the grind in sooner or later. Probably just really wants to get that Earth Locking at the least. Chanigan finds the, looks like undead mummies on the top tile and opts not to take that, although I think it's one of the lower rooms that has the free first floor encounter with that.
Was that not the shard box he opened there?
That might have been the shard box. I don't... Either way.
Yeah, I didn't catch if... I just know I saw there was a marked box in that room too, so I don't know if that was the shard or if that was the encounter.
That was likely the shard box then. But Chanigan takes it, goes out, saves, and is back onto the grind. And Spellzapp, going towards the key locked, took that one last shot, that one last encounter after exiting out to get the last level needed, and finds 2 shard boxes.
And an experience box too. It's only 3,000. It doesn't go a long way, but with the early levels, it can help out a little bit here.
Most definitely. That 2 Gershark Big Eye pack not giving Chanigan any help, taking down a lot of hit points on the fighter. Fighter goes down. This is very spooky. The gold bracelet helps, but it's not going to survive more than 2 more hits. Heal pot strats just to be safe.
Ouch.
That is the risk that Chanigan's taking. Gonna go ahead and check the bottom 2 chests, probably looking for some X chests or secondary grind.
Yeah, maybe looking...
Nothing of note.
Maybe looking for a rather free encounter box. There is one. And that was the adamant pulled out of Canaria Castle there.
That gives another check option. We've got the we have the second check in dwarves. Will we still have the Lefane check? Obviously, you're going to take the dwarves check proximity wise for running or Bowden running all the way to Lefane. This could be our chime lock to get access to Elfland or Elfland Castle.
There's gray worms on that tile in Earth. The big Earth tile. That's a cube. That is likely going to be sending us to Sky here.
Yep, we've got the Lefane check, and then we've got Sky, Sky, Sky. We also, of course, have the Oxyale, so we've got access to sea. We have no Canal or Floater, though, and wow. Bane Sword, Were Sword, both rolling up. Spellzapp suddenly having weapons for the thief and the fighter. Meanwhile, Chanigan continuing the grind strats. Once Chanigan gets to 6 hits on the black belt, it's definitely going to get easier, but goes down with the fighter again. And of course, Chanigan is nowhere near a clinic. They'd have to go all the way back to Canaria to res up any party members. Does Chanigan opt to get back in? Yep, gonna go black belt level 14, I believe. Definitely not taking the 4 encounter.
Yeah, 1 Gershark Big Eye is probably doable at this point. I don't know if this is a let's grind to 21 and then call it, or like just to get the money, because we do have that key for purchase that I'm pretty sure Chanigan went and saw.
Honestly, I don't think Chanigan did go and see it.
Yeah, we have the ruby, so we did.
Okay, yeah, you're right.
Yeah. The ruby was from the sages. Thank you for notes, Danny. Much appreciated.
Thank you, Danny. Hey, there's the tail, which means we have promotion on. I'm assuming Spellzapp's going to go promote before going to Sky or Sea. But also has access to all the level 7, 8... Basically, at this point, she has access to all... Or he has all of the magic available, because he can just go to Gaia, where the other spells would not be, and... Will we find the most powerful magic that is level learnable? Did not see Nuke. We did say Fast at level 6. Which I think level 6, that's promotion learnable, so Spellzapp will have access to that, which is huge. If you're going for melee strats, Fast is basically a mandatory spell.
Yeah, that's definitely something you need, so seeing it somewhere that's learnable, definitely a sigh of relief for Spellzapp there. Not having the fast, we're really going to be leaning into that black belt and probably wanting to find that power bonk for it as well, just to give it some extra accuracy and power at the same time.
Chanigan about to get the 2 shards and the adamant, now having purchased the key.
Spellzapp is opting to go to Sky first. Sky is going to get us a lot of levels, 50-some boxes, so we could probably find some shard boxes in here as well. 0 shards on the first floor, though.
Was that a dragon shield that we saw, though?
Opal shield, I thought I saw. I saw an opal shield somewhere.
Yeah, there was an opal shield earlier in Sky, I believe, but I think it was reset out of... Or not Sky, in Earth. Whatever the case may be, Spellzapp is on to greater than less than and encounters a bunch of birds and some mummies, and he's got Gaze, Sleep Touch, and possible Petrification on the table.
Yeah, this is a very gross pack.
And of course, the runaway party member, the thief, gets paralyzed.
Okay, Lit 3 taking care of the burb, so we don't have to worry about the Stone Touch anymore. And we AoE and run. That's a FFR classic right there.
Did Chanigan not bring up the red mage and choose to go 2-man? Or
no,
3-man,
I think we picked it up, but I think it got knocked down.
Ah.
But we're leaving it down, which is surprising to me.
Methinks this is a play to get to that grind sooner than once. Once Chanigan just feels confident, having more focused experience and knowing that he's got access to the spells that he wants at the moment. Another shard, Fire 3 sword. That is a solid upgrade over that Weir +5, especially since if you find things like metal slimes, the fire elemental ability is a nice to have.
Okay, so we got what? One shard out of the Mirage floors, which is not the best thing in the world to see. But we still have plenty more boxes to open up as we go up Sky.
And Chanigan did go right back to the grind with the 3-man. Root is staying down, and the experience is going to be as focused as possible onto the fighter and the black belt.
Those were sandwiches on the grind tile in the Q block room. That's also a doable grind.
Oh yeah, it would definitely be more survivable early grind than what Channing is doing. But of course, Chanigan has the cube now, but is nowhere near going towards Lefane and the Sky check. Once Chanigan goes to Sky, though, it's just going to be a lot more survivable.
Yeah, we're already down to 2 party members on Spellzapp side going through Sky. I think we do have the life too. We are opting to not use it.
I don't think we're going to see Dan be picked back up by Spellzapp unless he really needs the meat shield. Ooh, current Medusas have Glance and Fire 3. Well, you know, you don't have to go down to the Bane Sword tile at a cabin. But, yeah, Spellzapp, now that he's got the Thief lockpicking, can just go to the 3-man and focus the experience on the Red Mage and the Fighter Black Belt combo. Meanwhile, Chanigan closing in on 20 levels for the Black Belt. That 21, I believe, is 6 hits. It's either 21 or 23. I can never remember. I do know that
21,
8.
21 is 6, 32 is 8, and 42 is 10, I believe.
And then 42 is roughly equivalent to a ribbon for magic resistance. Spellzapp opting to do left side. I've seen this a lot. Probably going to do left side and then go up to Sky 3 and only come back to Sky 2 if Sky 3 doesn't have the item.
Okay, confirmation in chat that the black belt numbers that I said were correct. Also, we have a question in chat about the encounters in Desert. So, the first encounter off the hard reset seems to be a pretty long walk. I don't see either runner going to take that. It's just, for one encounter, it's just too much of a time sink, I think. Especially knowing that the Gershark Big Eye tile exists. That's definitely the grind spot that we're going to go for. Clearly, as we see Chanigan going to the moon with it right now.
As far as the actual length, I believe they were able to go from Canaria to Provoca non-stop.
Yeah,
so
that's a bit of a walk to try to get any kind of a grind off in the desert area.
Ruse Stick out of the top of CC's Gambit, that is a huge find. Of course, the defense sword is incentivized, but if you're going 2 or 3-man, having 2 or 3 or 1 or 2 characters can full stack Invis or Ruse, that makes a difference.
Yeah, I like the play of putting your defense sword and Ruse Stick on your life caster and your main damage dealer. That way you can protect your damage dealer from any hits, and then you have your life caster that's also going to be prevent for taking hits, just in case.
Chanigan was at 6 hits, but got wiped out, still back to 4. Loses a few grind throughs, but if this works, it will work. Losing both the caster and the fighter, though, on the first refight of the redive is not going to make it any easier.
This is just not going too well for Chanigan over here, taking this early grind.
It is definitely giving Spellzapp a substantial advantage in progression. There is the crystal, so Matoya is the next stop for Spellzapp. And with 7 shards acquired And gonna look for some more. Finds 2 more shards here. So may leave Sky with a 9 shard count versus Chanigan, who has more base shards already. Did some early or some pickups of shards in
That miss.
I am failing to speak words. My apologies.
No, I totally understand that. Yeah, Chanigan is definitely, as chat's calling out, is committed to this at this point. Which, I mean, if you've sunk this much time into it, you definitely want to feel committed to this play. Banking on getting that black belt up to a point where it can just roll through the fiends. But we are losing a considerable amount of time here, so it remains to see if it pays off in the end for us.
Whether or not it's a sunk cost fallacy. Spellzapp gets the last shard. I believe that was the second in the shard, or was that the first shard box or the second shard box here in the free 4? Either way, it nearly wiped him.
Yeah, we made it through though. They found a ice sword +2 and a flame sword +3 as well. Those are rather decent, and Spellzapp is opting to head to Tia.
It looks like Spellzapp's out of warp or exit charges and is just going to try the Tia kill.
And we're down to a 2-man.
This is hilarious.
Item in Sky was the crystal.
If this goes well, it'll definitely give Spellzapp a substantial advantage, getting 4 more shards for the Tia kill. If it doesn't, it could balance out a huge chunk of the time that Chanigan's putting in on this grind.
Yeah, we're casting ruses, but Tia leads off with Thunder and almost completely wipes out that red mage from the start.
Chanigan goes down to the 1-man, but just one touch the Big Eye and the Shark back to back. So if he can get a 2-party encounter with that, with the 6 hits, and oof, Spellzapp loses the red mage and is trying Bane strats and loses the grind or the go.
Yeah, we just lost the entire dive there. That doesn't feel good either.
That risk does not pay off for Spellzapp and loses him a good few minutes that Chanigan is now going to be able to make up hard, because that's 8,000+ experience per 2-party encounter, or 2-person encounter, 2-entity encounter, I should say. This, however, with 4 and the ambush, is not going to make it easier for Chanigan to survive through. Chanigan did save with the single encounter. Honestly, if I were Chanigan and I was getting ambushed, I would look at just fast resetting and going back in. That said, Chanigan is in the finals, and I am commentating.
Yeah, exactly. I feel the same way. I mean, there's a lot of things I'm watching these runners do that I do not feel very confident in doing myself, but there's a reason why they're in the finals, and we're just, yeah, having a chit-chat about the entire thing.
Spellzapp, or Chanigan, when he gets the go, can one-punch these Big Eyes into non-existence. So this, after 2 wipes and a reset, gonna get the win, and probably just gonna save out and then just keep doing this. If you got enough tents or cabins or houses, whichever, you can get to that 6+ enough levels to make 1 shot every time turnover pretty reasonably.
Yeah, and it probably doesn't feel very good having to run out and save every time, but it's also a lot better than taking a few encounters and then wiping to a really bad ambush. So with it being so quick and there being no encounter early on, it definitely makes sense to just run out, save after a fight like this where you're going to gain a couple levels and then go back in.
Spellzapp gets the crystal this time and then decides to exit out. Had 1 shard saved up to make that runaway. doesn't have nearly as many shards, ended up dropping a few.
I think we lost 2 or 3 there.
Not going back in.
We lost 3 there.
He is going to bring the thief back up. Interesting. Chanigan, meanwhile, 12,000 experience, taking on a full pack and not bothering to go back out. Just heals up, has reached the point where he feels confident just grinding multiple encounters without having to reset. That is a huge turnover point. What will the crystal turn into?
Yeah, we're at level
free
27.
house and a shard at least.
Chanigan at level 27 now. This encounter here will probably put us at level 29. Does Chanigan stop at 32 though, or do we go full on? We go straight to 42.
I can imagine go to the moon.
I can too, because the encounter is definitely going to get a lot easier once you hit that 32 mark. It's going to be one punch and dead for sure.
Yeah. Once he gets the levels up, he will also be able. 1,700 experience. That is huge.
Yeah, that's massive.
He's going to build up not only health, but absorb. And there's the chime, which gives us access to this long-awaited churn-in of the herb. Will this be like our bottle? This is the canoe. So volcano and waterfall and ordeals have just been put on the table for Spellzapp.
Now, what did we just pick up?
The canoe.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's nice.
Now, if you're Spellzapp, would you go ordeals, 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 or ordeals? Oh wait, promotion and then ordeals? It does have the tail and has.
We do have the tail, but I don't know. The thing with the early promotion, yeah, we can get spell charges, but then we lose out the MDef, and we're definitely gonna have to hunt a ribbon down. It looks like that's the way we're gonna go.
Not having the black belt up, just only reviving the thief when he was on his way back from Sky made me think. Promotion.
I missed that. Okay, so then
Yep.
So we are gonna move with the fighter carry then on Spellzapp's side, it seems.
And Chanigan up to 32. Here's that choice whether he goes with the grind more or Earth. He's going with the take on Earth and go. Most definitely gonna solo his way through Lich at this point. He didn't have a chance to bring up any party members, so it's just go and punch stuff.
This is a pretty beefy black belt walking through Earth Cave. I'd feel pretty confident in going solo through here.
At this level, I'm fairly certain a lot of the encounters will actually morale break. Earth has a lot of very annoying encounters, but a lot of them do not have high morale thresholds. There you see already one of the Gerwolves has run away. Make that many werewolves and Gerwolves. Get your pillar guesses in chat. Spellzapp not checking the early pillar box. And getting lost, going all the way back.
Yeah, Ordeal's maze can be quite a bit trolly at times. Looks like it was Pillar 2.
Confirmed. Chanigan not finding as many shards, opting not to take that top room in Earth 2, but already had more shards or comparable shards to Chanigan. And there's the incentive power bonk. Free saber on a gauntlet. That is equipable armor as well as utility for the fighter. Chanigan about to get the Oxyale.
Okay, so
likely not going to check the Earth or the Lich's bedroom, bottom 3 room or chest room.
We might. This is a 32 shard hunt. It's 3 chests. It's a maybe. but it looks like we are opting to walk right past it. I guess since we don't have anything with a sweeper, it does make sense to just completely skip it.
Yeah. Also, given the fact you didn't check either of the 3 chest rooms on Earth 2. Chanigan did check the Earth 1 floor rooms because he was looking for an alternate grind to start or just some shards. So had that info. Free pro ring, that's worth 1,000. And wow, white shirt along with the power bonk. Ordeals is paying big. As did you see a purple smudge on Chanigan's screen? I saw a smudge of some sort.
Oh, I missed it.
Yeah, well, what we do see is Chanigan back to the grind. Punch, punch, repeat. Is hitting 8 hits over 900 damage. The Gershark did not survive.
Yeah, this encounter is going to go a lot smoother. 19,000 experience, and we're already at level 35, so...
Chanigan doesn't have any houses, so can't full heal that. Is going to go... And I'm fairly certain Chanigan is just going to go from this point. You want to get your experience on the rest of the party members as you go, because, I mean, yeah, 9 out of 32 shards, he's going to have to take fights.
Yeah, and we can top off the black belt at the end as well if we really need to.
I like this play from Chanigan. He's going to on-rack. He's gonna do C with that level 30 plus black belt. He has the key. He can pick up his supplies here. Meanwhile, Spellzapp is gonna get the floater, so that canoe chasing down access to the canoe gets Spellzapp into the air. Yeah, Spellzapp lost a lot of time with the initial wipe in Sky, but Spellzapp now has substantial mobility advantage.
Yeah, that floater locked behind the canoe, locked behind the chime, behind the herb, behind the crystal and Sky. That's a pretty deep chain to get through to get that floater. Canoe was from the... Where was Canoe?
It was the herb, which was locked behind the chime lock, which the chime came out of Matoya, which came out of the crystal we got in Sky, as my co-coms said.
Yeah.
It was a big chain, but now Chanigan, meanwhile, in C with the punch cannon mostly online, going 2-man.
Yeah, this makes sense.
Has a slight shard advantage.
This makes sense on Chanigan because we want to get the charges on that red mage. I don't recall if Chanigan has checked the Lefane Superstore. We don't have the tail yet, so probably not. And I don't think we've checked magic elsewhere. But we definitely want to have charges for at least to have life 2, to have some early sweepers. Well, there goes any amount of experience that we were going to get on that red mage.
Yep, that's a full pack of sea bugs for 1 shard, and Chanigan's going to continue on, use the punch cannon to get as many shards and or the incentive item as possible. Meanwhile, Spellzapp is in on rack and about to join Chanigan in a dungeon for the first time. This will be the second main dungeon Spellzapp sees, having seen third actually, seeing Earth and Sky, but this may be the first one Spellzapp actually finishes out. Spellzapp with the Thief has Thief lockpicking online. Meanwhile, Chanigan actually spent the 20k plus to get the key. Will Chanigan check the incentive or the potentially incentive chests that are in bubbles? Because Chanigan still hasn't seen the power bonk, which would be a non-X chest incentive item that could be found here in one of these locked rooms.
I think we go ahead and clear out all of the marked boxes first, looking for shards and the key item before we start clearing any of the other chests. Look at that.
Speaking of the defense sword, one of our incentive items that is unmarked item, and Chanigan doing the right thing and carbonating bubbles and getting it. 12 shards for Chanigan. That is substantial. Do you think Chanigan's going to bounce out and bring up the red mage, or do you think Chanigan's just going to say, okay, I dive?
It's Kraken. I don't... The thing is I feel like the red mage is basically just going to be cannon fodder for Kraken at that point. Well, it doesn't matter. Ghosts do the gross things that ghosts do and wipe Chanigan back out.
That definitely hurts. It's not as bad as the wipe that Spellzapp encountered in Sky, but you gotta remember that wipe in Sky for Spellzapp somewhat compensated for the grind Chanigan had already put in several wipes there. So, Chanigan opting to bring back up more party members, deciding C is scary, I might as well go away from the 2-man. I don't dislike this play, because you're going to find a good amount of experience for everyone while in C.
Yeah, we'll have 2 sweepers and a bit more meat shield for running into those gross lobsters and the icky ghosts.
Spellzapp definitely has better kit for his party, having opened more chests, like good swords like the fire sword and so on and so forth. But Chanigan has the big beefy boy in front who can one-shot any of those sharks when needed.
Okay, so Spellzapp on his way down to Kraken.
Chanigan down a mage already with a poisoned red mage otherwise. Only has a few charges of life too that compensate for the exit, so I'm assuming Chanigan's is going to want to save at least one charge so he can exit out and then save before going back down into Sky. If Chanigan opts to clear Sky at this point. Hey, that is huge. A ribbon. They're all loose, so 1 ribbon in Sharknado 4-pack.
That's a free-ish chest, but I don't know that I see Chanigan opening much chests outside of incentive floors, to be honest. This feels like grab your shards and go.
I would feel bad about Chanigan not carbonating bubbles, but Chanigan already carbonated bubbles once. One
we can do it again.
Should be enough.
I'm gonna
Spellzapp,
carbonate.
meanwhile, past the Sharknado floor and going to get that 4 shards, hopefully. In fact, this is the second time he's faced a 4-shard fiend. This time it's by choice instead of by, can I do it?
Yeah, and we have a lot more levels and gear and promotion, so, like, probably
Kraken.
be okay as Kraken decides to delete the red mage.
I mean, Bane Sword, Defense Sword, fast got off. Chanigan, meanwhile, having exited out and saved, I should say, is going down the Kraken side. There goes the Thief. You got Defense Sword, you've got Power Bonk, you've got Fasted Fighter. This is totally doable unless Kraken crits. But of course, Kraken can very much crit. 2 for 235. Kraken is evasive.
That was a better swing, but that was a lot of crits there, so... There we go.
Defense sword or roost stick, whichever was being used, getting the job done. Spellzapp gets a 4-shard stack and some experience on that fighter. Chanigan actually gonna clear all or check all the rooms here on C. Sharknado Will Chanigan check that chest? Because it wasn't the easy free chest in Sharknado 4-pack. It was the top middle. Chanigan skipping those 2 non-X chests there in the bottom room. Probably not going to get the ribbon.
Yeah, I think Chanigan's only going to be checking marked boxes at this point. We're going to want that power bonk, so we're going to be looking for unmarked boxes and places that we didn't find an incentive item. But other than that, I don't see any more unmarked chests being open in areas that aren't needed. Unless it's a free chest, which that ribbon chest, it's only like, what, 4 steps off the encounter table, so it's not like the worst thing in the world. But I also, if we're skipping these chests down here that are free, we're probably skipping that chest with a ribbon in it.
What we mean by free chest, like the spot in that room Chanigan was just on, the bottom row of spaces in that room are non-encounterable. So a free chest would be like the one he just went to. He can go in through the door onto those tiles and not worry about taking an encounter. If he had gone for the other 3 chests there's a trap tile blocking one of them, and all the other encounter tiles there in that room are encounterable.
That hurts me knowing that that ribbon is there and you could have grabbed it by taking an extra 4 steps, but also it makes sense because we are going black belt mode. Ribbon is essentially optional at this point. That black belt is going to have essentially a ribbon on it with the MDef that it has. Now RNG can do RNG things, of course, still, but the only reason I think we want to have a ribbon is to have on that life caster, just as a backup situation.
Katana +2 for Spellzapp coming out of Cardia. That is huge crit capable weapon.
That
Spellzapp meanwhile gets the bottle also and is going to check that. Chanigan, however, lost the red mage before going to this fight, loses the red and the black mage, is going defense sword strats and then punching. And you saw how many power bonks Chanigan had to use to get that fight or get the kill here. Chanigan didn't, and is just punching for 500 a shot, just 3-shot Kraken. That is how much faster a Fiend fight can go when you have a punch cannon at any level. Bottle turns into loot, and Spellzapp going Volcano.
So that means this is going to be the Excalibur down in Volcano. But that also means that Chanigan is in fact going to have to go through that item chain to get the crystal out of Sky, to get the chime, to go turn in our herb, to get our canoe, to go get our floater.
Yeah, Spellzapp
because the bottle was located in Cardia.
Yeah, and just like in C, Spellzapp's probably not going to check a lot of these boxes. Oh, second katana. Is either not going to check a lot of these boxes, or is because he needs more ribbons. He's only got the one he found. That's something that Spellzapp has that Chanigan doesn't. He also has the issue of finding a Masa, which is loose, or that X-Cal, which both will be unmarked, one being loose, one being incentivized. If he's got that fighter, he wants it to have a big sword. The katana +2 on the thief is nice, but the fighter is likely the more damage dealing option.
Yeah, and we know Spellzapp knows at this point that this is where the X-Cal is at. This is the only incentivized location we haven't been to, and it's the only item we haven't picked up yet. So we know that that's what's down here. I imagine we hunt every box until we find it.
Chanigan kicking level 5 and 6 black magic, finds the fast at 6 is promo locked for the red mage, but does have the black mage to get it, and also gets temper on both mages. So Chanigan knows that he's got the utility and can get better utility. Meanwhile, takes the tail and runs as Spellzapp is on the Agama floor, finds several shards in this floor, plus the 2 shards he's going to get from the carry fight. as Spellzapp cleans up some shards and tries... Oh, there it is! Xcal +4. That is a very, very acceptable rolled up weapon of endgame caliber. Defense sword, now just a utility, not a swinging tool.
Yeah, that Xcal +4, pretty nice. Honestly, at this point, don't really need to hunt down a Vorpal or Masa. The katana with the thief is nice for backup melee, if it comes down to it. We could also see maybe potentially using the knight to take down the fiend refights, and then switching over to the ninja strats for chaos, having the option for crits there.
Chanigan finishes greater than less than, past Mirage going into Sky. Spellzapp, meanwhile, okay, Masa
+4. Never mind. We're gonna get it.
Yeah, just give that to the red mage, and then you got 3 big swords to swing and save your charges. Yep, there you go. Just kind of land there by default. So Spellzapp now in a shard lead over Chanigan, gonna take on Carry, get some more shards. Meanwhile, Chanigan...
Opal +4!
Wow, Volcano really seems like it should have been hit up earlier, don't you think?
Yeah, it would have been nice if we had access to it early with the canoe or the floater, but the game decided that, no, we're gonna put all the good gear in a location that you can't get to until late.
Well, I mean, if it's going to be late or promotion required gear, it might as well be after you had a chance to promote, but yeah, Spellzapp catching up on shard count, going to stack the levels as he goes, as Chanigan is going to just start skipping everything but Xboxes, or continue the skipping everything but Xboxes, because Chanigan just needs shards and chase down that loot. I mean, as far as Chanigan cares, he has access to everything except for Volcano, Waterfall, and Ice Cave. He can get enough shards with where he can get without the floater or the canoe. Spellzapp accidentally landing in the sea instead of on the peninsula.
It's funny that you can land on that bridge tile, because it's technically a sea tile. I thought I deleted myself when I did that the first time.
It's also nice that because we had the bridge to Lefane, we had to modify, or the Randomizer devs had to modify the Lefanian Peninsula to add that extra forest, or that extra green tile. I think it's an issue with the bridge and only being able to connect to plain tiles, which allowed you to land either on the peninsula power side or on the Lefanian Peninsula. Phoenix in chat calling for a horrible Topher to give Spellzapp some frustration, let Chanigan catch up. Honestly, that could be of great value to Chanigan, but I don't think it's strictly necessary. Because as was said before by Mechlin, the fiends are rolled really, really high. And you gotta remember, 23 shards that Spellzapp has, he still needs another 9 shards. He'll get 4 here for killing Tia. So, I mean, that's still 5 more shards he'll have to find loose.
Yeah, and I think we've pretty much exhausted most of our... I think we've pretty much exhausted all the boxes and everything at this point. He has Lich he could take on, and there's a few shards we know about on Earth 1, but this feels like we're going to have to see a Marsh or Ice play to get the remainder of our shards. I believe when Spellzapp got the Thief lockpicking turned on, we checked most of the locked boxes pretty quick.
I don't remember if we did check Northwest Castle or Elf, and I know we haven't checked Toph locked.
Northwest Castle, I remember them peeping, and it didn't have no marked boxes there. Toph locked, no, we have not seen Toph locked. But we definitely saw Dwarven Armory, and I'm pretty sure we saw the Elven chest as well. And I don't believe we saw anything in there. I don't recall if Spellzapp grabbed both of the marked boxes on the upper left side of Toph, though. So there's 2 boxes there that we can grab.
Yeah, I remember Spellzapp ignored those on the Toph fight and then walked right past them when he went to turn in the TNT. So has not been back for those.
Yeah. So we have a few places we can maybe find some shards at.
Spellzapp is raiding more stuff than I would have expected. Both runners in the same location at the same time. Bit of a high five.
This actually might be... This will put Spellzapp at 6 shards to go. The 4 from Tio puts me at 2 to go. And I think we checked the top right room, because that's where the crystal was. Yeah, so we're going to need 2 shards after the Tia fight here for Spellzapp. And if they didn't grab the 2 chests in Toph, then they know where to find their go mode at.
Meanwhile, Chanigan's going to have to chase down the crystal chain to finally get access to the canoe, which will then give him access to or volcano. I mean, he's also going to have to chase down the loot, which requires him to have so much to chase down that Spellzapp was able to do while the grind was getting online.
I think what's going to hurt Chanigan here is not wanting to double dip on-rack area as well. So that being where the floater is at makes me feel like we're going to check Volcano first and find that we didn't need to do Volcano at all, aside from grabbing some shards. But Chanigan is through Tia.
You know, I just realized we need the bottle that's in Cardia to get the ferry to get the loot. So
yeah, that's what I mean. Floater's required.
To go to sea
the
or
whole
to ice.
Everything is required.
This is just so punishing.
Yep. Yeah, the chain to get the loot is very, very deep.
2 shards left for Spellzapp that he needs to dig up, and he knows where they are. Chanigan using that Northern Provocadoc gets the chime. Now is going to have to go all the way to Elfland, so I have to boat around the entire Melman continent or walk from here. Meanwhile, Spellzapp goes back to those 2 shards. It's going to get into go mode. The real question, and the possibility as was said in chat, will this Topher be that horrible? And with levels in the high 20s, that's probably not safe for a 3-man. Even if that X-Cal swung for 5 hits and 1,000 damage against that crawl. Half of me expects Spellzapp to go back to Earth and take that the big eye Gershark grind. And get some more levels.
No, looks like we're going to go ahead and take a dive.
Tail onto the red mage, and dive it is. At 1 hour, 5 minutes, and 55 seconds or so, Spellzapp goes in. Meanwhile, Chanigan's finally getting the canoe. If Chanigan goes to Volcano instead of going to on-rack, that will put him down substantially. Yeah, he'll get some shards, and those shards should more or less get him to go mode, so Volcano wouldn't be a miss, but he still has to go back to on-rack.
Yep. We gotta go back to visit the robot, and then take that to the Cardias. Chanigan still has ordeals to check as well, so we have a lot of things to check now.
Ordeals has the power bonk. He will not be sad to get that, but it's definitely not the way to the loot. Spellzapp, meanwhile, almost lost the thief or the ninja and the red wizard. Chanigan's going volcano first. Will make a short work of volcano. Meanwhile, Spellzapp is on the volcano floor, about to take the carry 2 fight. Already using defense strats with that ninja, meanwhile just swinging out. And wow, 5 hits for nearly 1,000. Rolled up X-Cal, really doing work.
Yeah, that's very powerful. With the elemental and typed bonus being at 42, it definitely helps increase the value of the X-Cal on that knight. Throwing a fast on it, and you're going to deal a lot of damage.
Yeah, speaking of fast goes out 7 hits for 810. Meanwhile, Chanigan not checking anything in Volcano Armory. Checked the boxes, saw no X's, and doesn't care. So Chanigan probably won't even bother getting the X-Cal or the Masa. And Spellzapp already down on Tia's floor. Evil Men thankfully don't have nuke, because that rolled somewhere else. Or at least we assume so.
I haven't seen it yet.
Tia banes the knight. Fast comes out after it. Defense comes out. Defense are going to go with Ruse, trying to stack evasion for the remaining red mage and the ninja, rather than trying to use that life charge to try and bring back the knight.
Yeah, we want to make sure we have some sustainability before we pick that knight back up.
Got the white ninja with the life 2 on it, so you can save the charges on the red mage doing it that way.
Tia 2 looking awful evasive there. Yeah, Lock 2 is coming out. That'll help out. We already wasted that fast. I don't see us using another one here. We want to save our remaining fast charges for Chaos.
Bane ineffective, swinging in for a couple hundred damage. More Lock 2 coming out. Five hits for 1051. The X-Cal again showing its power, but you gotta remember, you're not gonna have that X-Cal on that knight, I'd hope, to take on Chaos, but you have the Masa +4. Very much usable.
Yeah, Masa +4, definitely, it's got a little bit more stats than the X-Cal +4 would have. So we're definitely going to switch over to that. Putting the ribbon on the knight as well. And then moving the red mage up into slot 2 to give the knight a little bit more of a fighting chance here. Meanwhile, Chanigan has made it through Volcano, has shards for go mode at this point. Just has to hunt down where that loot is going to be at.
If Chanigan goes to Ordeals instead of on rack, I'm fairly certain that's going to put him behind enough that Spellzapp can clear this out. That is to say, if Spellzapp finishes out this fight, but that is no guarantee because those front-loaded ninja and red wizard are both down. And yeah, he can stack evasion and power bonks, but spells get past evasion stacks.
Crack took out the ninja. Punch took out the red wizard. And there's the slow 2. That's a rip. 2 hits for 174. We're not getting through this. This is definitely a reset.
Spellzapp gonna have to redive this, most likely. Meanwhile, Chanigan did go Ordeals first. Is gonna last check Waterfall, Cure 4, resets Chaos's health, and gets him that much closer to Nuke. Of course, all the skills that Chaos have are the max tier elemental. Of course, Chaos now has fasted its ability to stun touch, but Nuke comes out and clears it, and Spellzapp's going to re-dive here at about a 112.
Yeah, it's about 6 minutes lost right there. It's worth noting.
At this...
Sorry, I was just going to say, it's worth noting, Chaos has between 3,400 and 4,000 HP. So we're going to need a lot of power to take that thing down.
Well, that's what the punch cannon idea for Chanigan has been, and it's once Chanigan got it online, he has not had really any troubles. But the many wipes and resets just to get online with that grind has given Spellzapp such an advantage on navigation and progression. Chanigan checks the X chest, finds nothing, and exits out. Yeah, he's got a shard or two from that, but that was never going to be his progression. Thankfully, Ordeals isn't that far from Waterfall, but he's going to have to take that the bottle from Waterfall all the way to Gaia. Or actually, no.
No, this is
yes,
the...
he's going to go to... He's going to get the floater here, then he's going to go to Cardia, find the bottle, and then go to Gaia to get the loot. A long trek all the same, as we see Blur did not nuke away the party more or less for Spellzapp, so on to C with a little more... Or onto Volcano, or Carry 2, and now onto C.
Oh, Gasties. I missed that that's what the tile was here in Waterfall.
That would be sweet to take, but it would have been harder to get going even the Gershark or Big Eye, and at this point, when Spellzapp got here, he was not looking for a grind. Chanigan truly does not care for a grind right now. All Chanigan cares for is the loot gonna be here, or does he realize that the loot's gonna... Well, he knows this is gonna have to be the bottle to the loot at this point. Doesn't see an X chest, immediately resets out, did the right thing, and saved while still in the air, so he doesn't have to take off after resetting. I do believe this is going to be the bottle. Still swinging that early sword picked up in Cardia, or in Canaria, I think, on that fighter. Never really found any better weapons, but doesn't really need it. There's the bottle, there's the exit, and Chanigan on the way to finally get the loot. At about the same time, Spellzapp is on his second Tia fight, or Tia 2 fight. Thane comes out, and again, the fighter comes out. This time a fast charge isn't wasted on the fighter, it's just a cure 3, but still. Life 2 charge coming out. More ruse, gonna keep evasion. Jingle acquired, Chanigan now in full go mode as ruse stacks come out on the red mage yet again. Cure 3 self on the ninja, quad X just as a go check. Unfortunately, the Quad X didn't roll up heavy. I think it's still the 300 default.
Yes.
So that was a very I'm wishful strat. Fire 2 comes out, does chip damage, swings the katana, 4 hits 260. The X-Scowl comes at 4 hits 370. Poison takes out the ninja, brings low the red mage, but doesn't end it, and there is the kill on Tia 2 as Chanigan finally enters Topher. Spellzapp, a fight away from chaos as Chanigan first encounters Lich 2.
I just want to note that Chanigan only has an Ice Shield and an Opal Cheerio to his name, and both of them got equipped to the fighter. That's black belt strats, if I understand it.
pretty well, and unfortunately this is a black belt that's not at that 42 to my knowledge. This is black belt strats with a thin-barreled punch cannon. Ruse stick, defense sword, fast on the night, gonna do full evasion strats. Half of me expected the red mage would have the white shirt just to add to that. That red mage already down to 87 health though. Ice magic doing the damage, more power or evasion, more power bonk, more temper. Actually, cure 3 instead of ruse or evasion on the ninja. Not a bad choice. Brings some levels or some health back to Danny. Lock 2 comes out to cut down on the evasions of chaos. More power bonk. Heal 2 to do some party chip damage protection. Opting to wait now. Wait, lock 2, and did we get our first swing? We got our first swing. Masa equipped 6 for 1004. That's roughly a little under a third of what the experience or the hit points down at. Crack takes down both party members. It is hold A and pray. 7 hits for 940. Inferno does 80, nothing special. There's another 687. 1 or 2 more swings at this rate, and there is GG's with a race time.gg time of 1 hour 1804. Spellzapp takes game 1.
GG's Spellzapp.
This punch cannon for Chanigan definitely doing its job, but the Masa and X-Cal rolling so high, and the early advantage in exploration got Spellzapp into Topher sooner and got the luck to get through. GG's Spellzapp.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're here.
So the thought about the picking up the thief and going single primary caster.
Yeah, I just like the thieves in these flags just because, well, okay, one thing was the early lockpicking. I saw that and I was like, well, you can maybe get into the armory or the Canary Armory faster. So that was kind of the idea behind the thief, at least. But then in general, I mean, they're just good in these flags because you can just run from things faster and get more preemptives.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Fair
makes
enough.
sense. Probably was nice seeing Life 2 at a thief learnable level as well.
I mean, if I remembered I had it, sure, but I didn't for like half the seats, so...
That's understandable.
But yeah, I mean, like, I didn't feel like I played great, but, you know, we can, you know, just sometimes you just get bailed out. Sounded like Chanigan had a rougher game than I did, so...
Yeah, Chanigan opted to take that Gershark Big Eye and Earth to get up enough to solo solo Lich and then come back in and get the grind to go to level 32 before going on to the rest of the map. I think by the time you were your second run into Sky after getting wiped on Tia, he was still grinding. So the fact that he's just this far behind is testament to how capable he is, despite being that much further behind on the exploration.
Yeah, I mean, he was able to clean it up. Looked like, you know, run through the rest of the seed pretty quick. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, I guess we just take those sort of wins.
Yeah, this was a bit of a rough seed all around, I think.
And the punch cannon gets it done with some fast and some 1500 plus damage hits. GG's Chanigan with the race time.gg time of 1 hour 20 minutes 46 seconds. That grind, that was a challenge.
We don't talk about that. This must have been the worst grind I've ever done. Way too early, and I should have just bailed as soon as I saw that Gersharks hit hard. I wasn't ready for that. I downed my casters way too quickly.
I was gonna say, I was honestly shocked that you took the grind so early with so few shards,
I didn't really mind the shards. Like I would get the time back just by going fast with the black belt.
Okay, I can see that now. Because yeah, you did pretty much steamroll through all the dungeons. So,
but that took what 20 minutes to clear everything, get my shards after my grind was done.
yeah.
So maybe a little bit more, but yeah, that grind was just awful.
Yeah, I mean they were ambushing, so it really hurts the.
No, it's not really the ambushing. It's really just the black belt either missing or just doing no damage. Like I took the first fight around what 16 or 14.
I think it was somewhere around there.
And my magic was all over the place with the red mage and the black mage. Well, mostly the red mage. I just bought every white magic on the red mage. I completely forgot to check black magic first, so I had no lightning 3, which was fun.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Despite all the craziness of how hard that grind was to start, it really did more or less work out in the end. Because I mean, you were just about 2 minutes behind Spellzapp, which is testament to how even this matchup is. We're definitely looking forward to the next game.
Yeah, for sure. Not gonna lie, since I'm facing Spellzapp, I feel like I have to do some like more risky plays, which was the grind in this one, and yeah, no, it just didn't work. I just need to focus on my game, just play as I always do, and not like try to meta game or just do as I do, and whatever happens, happen.
So, Spellzapp, how did you feel when you finally got into Volcano and started raiding some boxes?
Yeah, I mean, at that point, I think we knew that the X-Cow was there because we got the loot from. Oh yeah, I also saw that all of Armory was no shards. It felt like they were just all concentrated in weird spots that we're not used to, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I was more thinking just the X-Cow, the Masa.
Yeah, that was amazing. I would have loved to have those earlier, but
no, I just peeked the armor real quick and thought, well, no shards, not going there.
I really wanted an extra ribbon, just because having 2 life casters with ribbons would have been really safe, but having life in battle is kind of nice because you can just put the ribbon on that person and then just bring back the melee fighter.
Yeah.
The only ribbon we saw was the one you picked up in Sharknado. It was in the middle of the 4-pack room. So Chanigan, I think you only checked the fast one, the free one in that room.
Yeah, I was just checking marked chests at that point. Grind was done, I just needed shards.
Well, you were able to clear out all the fiends since you were basically in go mode minus the incentive key items.
Yeah.
Post grind, so that your shard count when you were grinding was pretty well on par with Spellzapp's too, because you'd taken more shard checks before going into Earth.
Yeah. No, it's still 6% more XP overall per shard, so I was like, let me check the few boxes in Earth, and fortunately there was 2 in her cave. So I was like, well, that's a 12% XP, so it's not too bad. But still, shouldn't have taken that grind that early. I should have just went back, and I almost thought about going back to Elfland just to raise my my casters. Well, which I did. Raise the black mage at some point, but yeah, no, that was just a mess.
Well, putting that aside, Spellzapp, what are you looking forward to? We got another race coming up. You guys haven't scheduled the next one, I believe.
Not yet.
Sounded like we were trying to get it on the weekend at some point. So look for that. Maybe Friday, Saturday, or Sunday.
Yeah, around that time.
and I think it's only best of 3, so we'll probably finish it up this weekend. We get some prime time, FFR for everybody to watch.
Yep.
Excellent. Definitely looking forward to that. How about we go on to our final thoughts then? Spellzapp?
Yeah, I mean, there's not really a ton to do there. It's just maybe put in some more practice on my side and just try and clean up a lot. I don't know. And then there's not much to say in the middle of a match like this or a set like this. So just looking forward to the next games, and let's make it a good one.
Okay. Chanigan?
Pretty much the same thing. I just gotta focus on what I'm good at, and just not trying to force things up. But yeah, I'm pretty excited for the rest of the matches. It's gonna be pretty sure it's gonna be a good one. Game 2 at least. I'll try to come back and win the next one, and I'm still pretty high for that match. Spellzapp is an amazing opponent, and pretty happy to face him in the finals.
Very much looking forward to that. Mecklin, any final thoughts, my good sir?
Yeah, just thank you, Thavian, for joining me in the booth. Thank you for Danny for doing tracking and keeping us amazing notes. GG's to both runners. Looking forward to Game 2 and potentially Game 3 as well. We always love a Game 3. And thank you to RPG Limit Break for allowing us to host us on your channel tonight. It's always wonderful to get to have these matches show up on RPG Limit Break. And if you're new to the community and you want to try and learn how to run like these racers do tonight, there's links in the chats to the Discord, to the wiki, and to the randomizer itself. They will all eventually link you back to the access that you need to the tools to get the training that you want. We have the Duckling program that is going to start up here in just a few weeks, where Saracen, the other Duckling Dons, will run you through the boot camp and will teach you all the ins and outs of how to effectively get your foot in the door to learn how to run competitively. And following that, there is the Duckling Derby, where all the ducks get to come together and have a little bit of a mini tournament themselves. Everybody's basically on the same level at that point, so you get to race people who are not Spellzapp or Chanigan and actually feel like you have a bit of a fighting chance. Also, after that, there is the FFR Rando Marathon, which is going to happen live this year, which is in Charleston, West Virginia, if I'm not mistaken, June 13th to the 15th. There is also links on the wiki on the main page to take you to that, so you have all the information there, but check it out. There are hotel bookings, purchase your patches online, all that good stuff there. So if you're looking to join the event live, that is where you want to find out all that information. With that, I'll go ahead and pass it back to Thavian to take us out.
Thank you very much again, Mecklin, for being co-coms and doing our restreaming duties. Thank you, Danny, for this glorious seed and the tracking. Mecklin, you have covered the vast majority of everything. I thank you all, myself, for tuning in for the Final Fantasy Randomizer community. You all have an excellent evening.